Okay, this is the fourth video for the first test, and this should be it. Okay, here we go. We're starting on bet on the bet, and we just learned the three shitot of when the machloket Tanakama and Rav Yehuda actually takes place, and who matches with who. So the Gemara now says Bishlama right over here. It's understood. Rav Yoshia Peliga Rav Huna Rachanan Baraba. Rav Yoshia who says the machloket is when ein magiot ein tvano magiel eschach. Certainly is in disagreement with Rav Huna and Rachanan Baraba. Rav Huna says machlokas by four sukkah. Rachanan says machlokas is only Rosho Rubo v'Shulchanah. He certainly has a different view. The Inukei have Ishura b'Mashka because they both go ahead and give shiurim, give amounts dealing with area. He doesn't give anything to do with area. He doesn't care how big it is. He has a totally different metric. Maybe Rav Huna Rachanan Baraba really agree that Tanakama only says halacha in a minimum size of sukkah. And their machloket is what a hechsher sukkah is. How small is that minimum size sukkah? Tomasavar hechsher sukkah ba'arba amot. That Rav Huna is of the opinion that the minimum sukkah is arba amot and arba amot. Therefore, he says Tanakama only says his halacha in a minimum sukkah, which according to me is arba amot and arba amot. Marsavar Rachanan says hechsher sukkah l'seket r'shoru bo shulchano. He agrees. Tanakama only says halacha in the minimum sukkah. I just think a minimum sukkah is something else. You think it's 4x4. I think it's machseket r'shoru bo shulchano. So that's the machloket between them, but they agree in principle to the idea that Tanakama only has halacha in the minimum sukkah. So that's Gemara lo, wrong. Tukuli alma heshes sukkah roshovru bo shulchanah. The Gemara is much more comfortable saying that everybody agrees that even the sukkah of roshovru bo shulchanah is kasher, because that eventually is going to be the halacha. So we don't want to put Rav Huna saying something different. What's the machloket? This is what they're arguing in. Tomorrow, Savar Machseka Rosho Rubo Shulchanot Peliki. Rav Kanan says that Rav Tanakama argues in Rav Yehuda only when you have this minimum sukkah of Machseka Rosho Rubo. Avayoter Merishov Rubo Shulchanot. But if anything larger than that, Tivrei Akok Shera, no one cares how high the schach is. Tanakama says, fine. I only care the schach should be 20 amot when it's the minimum sukkah. Umar Savar, Rav Huna says, Rosho Rubo Shulchanot Arba Amot Pligi. No, that they have machloket on account of Rav Yehuda in any sukkah which is Rosho Rubo v'Shulchanah until this Dalet Amot. Now, according to Rav Huna, they're all kasher that area, but then any sukkah from Robo Rubo v'Shulchanah till Dalet Amot by Dalet Amot, Tanakama will have his height limit. Aval Yotzer Dalet Amot, once you get larger than Arba Amot, Divrei Hakol Shera. Everybody agrees that when I say everybody, Tanakama and Rav Yehuda agree that the sukkah could be as big as possible. Mitzvah. So Gemara now is going to try to ask a question to see who's right, Rav Yoshia, Rav Huna, Rachanan, in terms of the machloket Tanakama, Rav Yehuda. Sukkashi gvol amalam esrim amapsula. Tanakama's statement: you cannot have a sukkah which is more than esrim amot high. Rav Yehuda machshir ad arbeim v'chamishim amah. According to Rav Yehuda, could be 40, 50. He doesn't care. He's high as he wants. I'm Rav Yehuda. Rav Yehuda says, I'll prove it to you. Maaseh b'honia malka belud. Right, there was a story with Onia Makah who was living in Lud. The sukkah was more than 20 amot high. And all sorts of very, very smart people and from people were going in and out of the sukkah. No one said boo to her. So that proves that a sukkah could be as high as you want. Otherwise, they should have said something. Amrullah says to Rabbi Yehuda, Yishamra, yeah, you want to be a proof from there? Yishaita uftura min sukkah. Because she was a woman, and therefore she doesn't have the mitzvah sukkah. Therefore, they didn't want to embarrass her. It's really pasul. But they said, okay, she doesn't have the mitzvah. Amar ahead. So Yehuda says, wait a second. She had 7 sons. So the 7 sons, we're going to assume that some of them were over bar mitzvah. So that sukkah had to be kosher. So Yehuda says, by the fact that no one said anything to her, that proves that I'm right, that a sukkah could be 50, 60 amot high. Because her sukkah was very, very high, and no one said anything. So now the Gemara, we continue. We skipped a little bit. We will come back to it. Third to last line. According to Rav Yoshia, that says the Tanakama's height limit applies. whenever the walls do not reach the schach, then you understand what Rabbi Yehuda is pointing to the sukkah of Hilnei Hamaka. Because it's very, very possible that a queen would be sitting in such a sukkah where the walls do not all go all the way up to the schach. That would be a very royal sort of sukkah. Top of the next page, mishum avira, because it's going to let in air, because otherwise the lid you can fry if the fanuk all the way to the schach. So therefore, what do we have? We have a sukkah where Tanakama says, according to Rav Yoshia, there should be a 20 amot limit. The sukkah of Hilnei Hamaka was aimed to fanuk magil l'schach, and yet it was way, way, way up there. So Rav Yehuda says, ha, that proves that I'm right, because here we have a kosher sukkah that Hilnei Hamaka is sitting in, ain't fanuk magil l'schach, and the schach is 50, 60 amot high. No one says anything. That proves that I'm right. But according to Rav Huna Rachanan, that the only time Tanakama disagrees with Rav Yehuda and says it's a height limit is only on a small sukkah, either 4x4 sukkah or a shoru bo b'shulchana. Would a malka with Hilnei Hamaka be in a very small sukkah? The sukkah is probably gigantic. So if it's a gigantic sukkah, according to Tanakama, there is no height limits. So by the fact that Rav Yehuda is pointing to the sukkah of Hilnei Hamaka as being a proof for him, apparently Rav Yoshi is right. That when the ein panot magiel l'schach, that's when Tanakama has a height limit. And that's Rav Yehuda says, you see, I'm right. Because by Hilnei Hamaka sukkah, the height was way up there. Amar Rabba Baravad, that's Rabba, this is not so fast. No, her sukkah was made into cubicles. So therefore, some of the cubicles are very small. And therefore, according to Rav Huna, if it was 4x4 amot, the Tanakama's height limit existed. According to Hanan, if it was Rasho Rubo B'Shulchan, the Tanakama's height limit existed. And since that height limit was violated, Rav Yehuda proves that apparently I'm right. So we're talking about these cubicles, the big sukkah that was divided into cubicles. Says the Gemara, for the queen have such a sukkah, that would be weird. It wasn't the whole thing was divided into cubicles. She had one little section roped off, so to speak, cordoned off with mechitza, with walls, for a place to be tzanua, that she wanted to change, wanted to lie down, whatever she wanted to do. So that particular part was either Rashoru Bo Shulchanal, or it was 4x4 amot. Yet the height was, according to Rav Yehuda, was way, way up there. And that proves I'm right. According to Tanakama, there should have been a limit. Rabbanan Savri Banneha B'Sukkah Ma'al Yahavayasi. The Tanakama says there's no proof over here because her children were sitting in a normal sukkah. They weren't in this little compartment. And therefore, in a normal sukkah, there's no height limit. The Ihi Yasvi B'Kitniyot Mishum Sniyuta. And she had this little cubicle. And that's why they didn't say anything, because she's a woman. She doesn't have the mitzvah. So even though it was a minimum size sukkah, but yet the height was way over the limit according to Tanakama, no one said anything because she's a woman. Rabbi Yehuda says, no, but now Gabah Yasve. She had children with her. She had children who were over bar mitzvah, or we'll see. She had some male children with her, and therefore they needed a kasha sukkah. And even so, no one said anything to her. So apparently, even in a small sukkah, whether it be arba bar ma'amot or Rashoru Bo B'Shulchan, there is no height limit. And that proves that I am right. Wow.